Okay.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the North Hills. My name is Jeff Coleman, and I will be your lay leader today. Please join me in welcoming each other into this moment made sacred by our presence. Whatever the faith and traditions of your past, we welcome you. Whatever your theological stance, we welcome you. Whoever you are and whomever you love, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, whatever your journey has been, we welcome you, the whole of you. Our Sunday services are as diverse as we are, so if you're visiting the church for the first time, please come back again several times so that you may experience the various topics and styles of worship that we have to offer. Though we enjoy a variety of worship experiences, one thing that remains consistent is our mission. Please join me in affirming our mission statement. By building a loving religious community that nourishes the spirit, celebrates life, and cherishes the connectedness of all things, we will transform ourselves and our world. Newcomers and guests are always welcome to participate in any of our church activities. If we have any newcomers or guests this morning, we invite you to introduce ourselves. Please just raise your hand, and Nancy is ready to rush out and greet you.
I'm Brian Weller. You don't dare give this to me.
Uh-oh, it's dangerous.
I'll go on and on. I'm relatively new here, having been here 4 times, having been away for 10 years in California. But, so that makes me a newcomer. But I joined this church in 1968. Oh, think about that. And so that makes me, Robin tells me I'm reinstated as a member, so I want to welcome myself back. And since I have this, when you're 90, people ask you for advice, so I have a bit of advice. Add $1,000 to whatever pledge you are going to make.
Any other newcomers? Want to up the ante here?
Hi, my name's Trish. This is my sister Betsy. This is our first time here. We were raised very religiously, and our journey took us away from that, and we are kind of dipping a toe back in and seeing what other options are out there.
Welcome. Anyone else? Great, thank you. Please join us for coffee hour in Fellowship Hall immediately after the service. It is good to be together, both in person and virtually.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Leanne Washington, and you all are an energetic and joyful bunch. I'm the minister blessed to serve this beloved community. We gather this morning to reflect on the ways compassion, clarity, and generosity take visible form in our lives, using light as a metaphor. When we speak of light, we do not mean something decorative or sentimental. We mean something sacred and lived. We mean compassion for what is, clarity about what is true, and openness to what is possible. We mean those inward qualities that, when shared, become a blessing to ourselves and to those with whom we do the sharing. We see that light in many forms: in kindness freely given, in courage quietly practiced, in truth spoken with love, in generosity offered without fanfare, in work done behind the scenes, in shared gifts, seen and unseen, and all the ways people offer what they have. Time, talent, treasure, care, presence, in service of our community. That is the light we honor this morning. That is the light we are called to tend. And that is the light we are called to share. So let us enter worship ready to awaken our senses and open our hearts to embrace what becomes possible when compassion is practiced, truth is spoken, and gifts are generously shared. As we enter worship in that spirit, let us consider generosity in its many forms. This community is sustained by material gifts, by acts of service, by the offering of time, attention, and care. These words, written by Khalil Gibran, invite us to widen our understanding of giving and to honor the spirit in which generosity is offered. And there are those who have little to give and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. It is well to give when asked, but it is better to give unasked, through understanding. And to the open-handed, the search for one who will receive is joy greater than giving. For in truth, it is life that gives unto life, while you, who deem yourself a giver, are but a witness. Let us join in worship.
The flaming chalice is a symbol of our faith as we join with other UU churches and fellowships in this familiar ritual. As we share the light of this chalice in our sanctuary, we also welcome those of you viewing remotely to light a chalice. We light this chalice for the work of shared ministry, for the checks written quietly, for the casseroles made without fanfare, for the coffee poured, the floors repaired, the flowers arranged, the notes sent, the chairs stacked, the songs rehearsed, and the joys and sorrows shared. May this flame remind us that a congregation does not happen by magic. It is built and sustained by people who give of themselves in love. Please rise in body or in spirit as you are willing and able, and join in singing verses 1, 3, and 5 of our opening hymn, Wake Now My Senses, number 298 in the gray hymnal. And of course, the words will appear on the screens.
Please be seated. Let us share our joys and sorrows.
Good morning. I'm Inga Burton-Smith from the Lay Pastoral Care Team. During our service, we create this sacred space for sharing within our community. It's a time to share significant life passages with the congregation so that you can be held in loving care. I'll be reading the joys and sorrows this morning, and Lynn Herkenrother will be placing a stone representing each joy or sorrow in the sand. The sand represents our congregation, supporting our sorrows and lifting up our joys. This morning we had one joy and one sorrow. The sorrow is from Sandy Faulkner. Sandy is going into West Penn Hospital on Monday, April 13th, for surgery on ovarian cancer. To Sandy we say, we are holding you in our hearts. We also had a joy from Kate Medino. And this is from Kate, Paul, AJ, and Maya. Paul's sister Linda survived a double lung transplant yesterday. We are rejoicing with glee. Her road ahead is hard, so blessings are appreciated. To Kate, Paul, AJ, and Maya, we say, we share in your joy. Lynn will now place one more stone in the sand for all the joys and sorrows that exist in our hearts but remain unspoken today. From far and near, please say with me our sharing words, which are on the screen. Let us hold in our circle of caring each person here. Let us hold in our hearts those who are unable to be with us today. Let us hold in our memories those who have moved on. Let us find comfort in knowing that we are not alone.
Our meditation this morning is often attributed to the Persian mystic Hafez, 14th century Persian mystic, though it seems that Hafez inspired Daniel Ladinsky to actually write it in a book he wrote in 1999. Please get comfortable in your seats, take a few deep breaths, and open your ears to hear this short poem, followed by a 3-minute silent meditation. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. I invite you to rejoin us in the room and invite the choir to come up for the next portion of the service.
Of a love so generous that it lights the whole sky. Now, in this anthem's call to give thanks where there was sunshine, we are invited to hear that same truth in the language of harvest, that light is not only something we receive, but something we share through labor, generosity, and grateful hearts.
a contemporary retelling of the widow of Zarephath, found in the Bible at 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 through 16. The drought had gone on so long that even the brook had dried up. So Elijah came to the town of Zarephath, tired, thirsty, and hungry. At the edge of the town, he saw a widow gathering a few sticks, just enough for a small cooking fire. And he called to her, "Please, bring me a little water." She turned to go. And then he called after her again, "And bring me a piece of bread." That stopped her. I imagine she looked at him for a long moment, the stranger with dust on his clothes, the prophet with an empty stomach, asking for what she did not have to spare. And she said, "As surely as the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering these few sticks so that I may go home and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and then face whatever comes next." But Elijah said to her, "Do not be afraid. Go and do as you have said. But first, make a little bread for me and bring it to me. Then make something for yourself and your son. For this is the promise: the jar of flour shall not be emptied, and the jug of oil shall not fail until the rain returns to the earth." And somehow she did. Whether with trembling hands or a doubtful heart or a small and stubborn hope, she went and prepared the bread. And there was enough. Enough for Elijah, enough for the woman, enough for her household. Day by day, the flour did not run out and the oil did not fail until the rain came again.
Thank you, Jeff. The story we've just heard from 1 Kings is ancient, but it feels surprisingly familiar. A weary man arrives in need. A woman is already carrying more than enough burden of her own. He asks her for water, and then, almost offensively, he asks for bread. And she stops. Of course she stops. Because sometimes what is asked of us feels so large, so badly timed, so out of touch with the reality we are living that all we can do is look at the person asking and think, "You cannot possibly be asking this of me." That's the widow's moment. She's not standing in a field of plenty. She's not baking out of abundance. She's gathering a few sticks. Just enough for a small fire, just enough for one last meal, just enough to get through the day. And yet somehow, with some mixture of fear and faith, doubt and courage, she does it. She shares what looked unshareable. And somehow there's enough. Now I want to be careful here. This is not a story that gives us permission to romanticize scarcity, nor am I going to try to convince you that everything always turns out just fine. It's not a story that tells people to empty themselves out while others stand by admiring their sacrifice. And it's not a story that promises that every act of generosity will be rewarded with immediate abundance. Life isn't that tidy. But I do think that the story tells us something that is true. It tells us that generosity does not always come from surplus. It tells us that blessing does not always come from the places in the world that we expect them to. And it tells us that those who seem to have the least may still be carrying something the world desperately needs. This is part of why this story still speaks. And it's also why I think of Osceola McCarty. Anybody know that name? Osceola McCarty? I imagine that most days in her life did not look remarkable while she was living them. Morning, work, laundry, ironing, walking home, church, rest, rinse, repeat, literally. She lived in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She had left school as a girl in order to care for her family, and whatever plan she may once have had for herself gave way to duty, labor, and the quiet demands of ordinary life. For decade after decade, she washed and ironed other people's clothes. It was humble work, necessary work, the kind of work by which life is held together, even when nobody thinks to praise the hands doing it. She lived simply. She walked where she needed to go. She was careful with what passed through her hands, and all that time, without fanfare, she was saving. A little here, a little there, year after year, decade after decade. Then came the moment when the hidden thing was revealed. Arthritis forced her to stop working, and people learned that this washerwoman had saved about $280,000. And in 1995, she gave $150,000 of it to the University of Southern Mississippi. So that students in need might have opportunities that she herself had not had. The gift startled the country, not only because it was generous, but because it came from a life the world might have mistaken for small, uninteresting, ignorable, unimportant. And then her generosity did what real generosity so often does. It traveled. Others gave because she gave. Others were moved because she had been moved. Others saw in her quiet faithfulness a kind of moral clarity that cut through all the usual nonsense about who matters and what gifts count. And the light that began in one woman's life did not remain hers alone. Her light lit other lights. And that, I think, is what stewardship is really about. Not just paying bills, though of course bills must be paid. The electric company, in a shocking display of realism, don't you know, still expects actual money. But stewardship is about more than institutional maintenance. It's about recognizing that a community is sustained by shared light. Some of that light takes the form of money, and let us be plain about that. Money matters. It matters because staff should be paid. It matters because buildings do not repair themselves by the laying on of hands. It matters unless the hands are volunteers. It matters because worship, music, religious exploration, pastoral care, heat, water, and all the ordinary material structures of congregational life cost something in real monetary terms. But money is not the only form light takes. Sometimes light is a pledge card. Sometimes it's showing up in the kitchen. Sometimes it's making coffee or arranging flowers. Sometimes it's noticing what's broken and quietly making sure it gets repaired. Sometimes light is teaching, singing, listening, organizing, comforting, planning, balancing, cleaning, calling, or simply doing the next needed thing. And as I look out here and see these faces before me, I see people who have done one or many more of the things I just listed. One of the joys of being the minister here is that unlike some congregations where 20% show up and do everything, this congregation responds throughout. I don't have a number, but I'd say 70 or 80% show up. When there's a call for service or donations, this congregation responds over and over and over again. And one of the blessings of congregational life is that these gifts do not compete with one another. The person who gives financially is not more holy than the person who gives labor, and the person who shares generously of their time and talent is not more holy than the person who gives from a place of financial stability. The person who can offer both is not superior to the person who, in a hard season, offers presence, prayer, attention, and care. All of it matters. All of it becomes a blessing. And yet, stewardship season does ask us for a particular kind of honesty. It asks us to tell the truth that communities do not run on good intentions alone. They run on generosity made tangible. They run on people deciding that this place matters enough to financially support it. They run on people deciding that what happens here is worth sustaining. They run on people deciding that a beloved community is not just a beautiful idea, but something to which they will actually contribute. And so I think about Osceola McCarty, not because I want us to imitate her exact gift. That would be missing the point. The point is not the number, the point is the spirit. The point is that a person the world might underestimate turned out to be carrying extraordinary power to bless others. The point is that quiet faithfulness can be transformative. Any person's contribution, no matter how modest, can inspire others to give as well. The point is that one person's offering can open a future for people she will never meet. And I expect that's true here too. There are people in this congregation whose generosity is easy to see, and we are grateful for that. But there are also people in this congregation whose generosity is so woven into the fabric of our life together that we barely notice it anymore. There are people who keep our connections with each other warm and human, who keep this place functioning, who offer music, pastoral tenderness, administrative steadiness, practical skills, and financial support. There are people who, when money is tight, give more of their time and their labor. There are people who quietly keep the lamps burning. And all of this is light, not decorative, not sentimental, sacred and lived. The kind of light that takes the inward things, compassion, clarity, generosity, and give them form in the world. So perhaps the stewardship question before us is, what is mine to give? What light is mine to tend? What light is mine to share? For some of us, the answer will be financial. And if you have the capacity to give financially, I hope you will do so generously. For others, at this moment in time, the answer may be time offered, or skill, or care, or practical help, or steady presence. For many of us, it will be a mix of all these things. But the invitation is the same. Do not underestimate what can happen when ordinary people offer what they have in love. A widow with a little flour and oil, a washerwoman in Mississippi, a congregation in the North Hills. None of these, by the world's standards, necessarily looks like the center of great power. And yet, this is how lives are sustained. This is how hope is carried forward. This is how the future is open to possibility. This is how light spreads. Not always through spectacle, often through steadiness, not always through abundance, often through faithfulness and frugality. Not always through the people everyone notices first, often through the people who simply keep showing up with what they have to offer. And perhaps that's the grace of it. Light shared is not light lost. A lamp does not grow dim by lighting another lamp. The room grows brighter. May we be such a community. May we honor the visible gifts and the hidden ones. May we give thanks for those who have sustained us thus far. And may we be honest about what it takes to sustain this place. May each of us in our own way offer what is ours to give, so that there is enough, and enough, and enough, until the dry places bloom again. Please rise in body or in spirit as you are willing and able to join in singing Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in the gray hymnal. The words will also appear on the screens. Please be seated.
As an independent Unitarian Universalist congregation, we depend on your financial support to pay our staff, to maintain our beautiful campus, and to offer meaningful worship services and religious exploration programs. Next up, we have Aaron Rogers, who I believe is going to share a stewardship testimonial with us.
My name is Aaron Rodgers, too, not the NFL Aaron Rodgers. Sorry. Thank you, Carol Ballance, for asking me to share my testimonial. My name is Aaron Rodgers. My family and I joined UUCNH 3 years ago. My husband, John, and I live in Observatory Hill with our son, Fritz, and daughter, Rosie, who are in the nursery now. You'll see them afterwards. I work from home full-time. John is a self-employed artist and full-time stay-at-home dad. We're both originally from the Harrisburg area and moved to Pittsburgh almost 10 years ago. A reason was because we had a desire to live in the city, plus I had a baby nephew right in Bellevue, so we found jobs, an apartment in Millville, and got out of Central PA. And that he's almost 10, my nephew, so that's kind of crazy. I grew up Catholic and went to Catholic elementary school and attended church every Sunday. Whatever concept I had about God is that I was fearful of him and that his love was conditional. Despite our faith, my parents got divorced before I entered high school and our family struggled. I went down a path of destruction that eventually led to addiction. Fast forward, I've been sober for 16 years. Sobriety is a huge part of my life. It's allowed me to search and adopt a new concept of a higher power that aligns with my true faith and values, or very similar to our fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And that is how I landed on Unitarian Universalism. I'd also like to read this passage directly from UUA.org. We join together not because we have a shared concept of the divine. Rather, we gather knowing that life is richer in community than when we go it alone. We gather to know and be known, to comfort and be comforted, to celebrate the mystery that binds us each to all. It felt even more necessary to belong to a community of faith once I started a family. With no surprise, we were immediately accepted. During the insightful Exploring UU classes, I knew I was home. The questions they're asked, it's like the questions you always want to answer, or at least I do. It's amazing. When my second child was born, I couldn't believe how the community came together to make sure we were fed, and I'm really excited to make a meal for Edith and their new baby. I've never experienced something like that, and am eternally grateful. I know as a sober person, my purpose is to help other people. Giving myself to this congregation financially and through service, even right now if it's not as much as I desire it to be because I'm in the thick of child-rearing days, it's gratitude and faith into action. Thank you for loving me unconditionally.
Thank you, Erin, for sharing your story. We will now proceed with collecting the offering. Instructions for online contributions are on the screens. If you're visiting us for the first time, please feel free to let the basket pass. Your presence with us is your gift to us today. The morning offering will now be given and gratefully received. We appreciate your generosity and will be good stewards of your contributions. Please join me in dedicating the offering. The words are on the screen. May these gifts and the work of our hands and hearts give power to always stand for as a community of faith. Please rise in body or in spirit as you are willing and able, and join in singing our closing hymn, This Little Light of Mine, number 118 in the gray hymnal, And of course, the words will be on the screen.
Please be seated. We extinguish this chalice, but our co-creation of the beloved community continues. The light goes with us now into kitchens and committee meetings, into checkbooks and toolboxes, into musical expression and hospital rooms, into all the places where love becomes visible. Before I give the benediction, I want to give you some practical instructions about what's going to happen next. So, each of you were given a pledge card. Many of you have already pledged, either electronically or by filling out the form previously. If you have not done so yet, please fill out the form. And I'm going to suggest that for those of you who might be in a particularly tough moment financially, feel free to put on your pledge card time and talent. Fold it over like everyone else in half, and as you exit into the breezeway, looks like Mike is there to receive your pledge card and put it into a box and to give you a button that says share your light. It's a pretty button. It's one I think we should wear for the next year, on and off, whenever we feel like we want to share our light or confirm our commitment to doing so. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of you and one of him. So, as you go out, mingle and mix here. We won't do a receiving line. Mingle and mix here, and then just kind of, as adults can perceive the flow, go by, hand in your pledge card, and get your button. Now, if you've already pledged, we're going on the honor system, because these buttons are going to be, highly sought after. Let Mike know, and he'll give you a button. Then you'll go pretty much straight into the food area of Friendship Hall so you can build your baked potatoes and have your salads. Now, I'm just going to make an observation. Unitarian Universalists are awful at RSVPing. Terrible. If you don't know what that means, respondez s'il vous plaît. It's French. Respond, if you please. We asked for RSVPs. Usually we have 70 to 90 people in this room, and 47 responded. I told them to get potatoes for 90. I figure the worst thing that's going to happen is a bunch of us are going to stick a baked potato in our pockets and go home. Right? All right, so I want to send you out grateful for those who raised and grew our food, for those whose hands have prepared it, for those who have taken the time and made the effort this morning to set out the chairs and tables, to set out the food, and give us an opportunity to spend time with each other, tell stories, tell jokes, celebrate the fact that we have a beautiful, beloved community. Go now, not empty-handed, but carrying what is yours to give. And remember, what is offered in love is never small. What is shared in faith is never wasted. What is given for the sake of community becomes more than any one of us could create on our own. Amen, ashe, and blessed be.